Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could we have the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Judy. Next thing we'll do, welcome everybody to the meeting, and we'll go around and make introductions. Starting with,
I'll start. Randy Gilman, Assistant Superintendent, Elementary.
Amy Cardona, Assistant Superintendent, Secondary.
Mr. Shalhoub.
Jim Shalhoub, Director.
Judy Smith, Vice President of the Board.
Bob Grunwald, Treasurer of the Board.
Michelle Chamberlain, board member. You went at the same time.
Okay, Carol Yount, board member.
Crystal. Ms. Hargis. We can't hear you.
Crystal Hargis, Director.
Okay, can I get the rest of the cabinet, please?
John Stewart, Chief Financial Officer.
Declan Fitzpatrick, Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Kelly Brock, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources.
And Nisha Patel, Superintendent.
And I'm Vicki Hansen, Board President. Okay, the first item is 1.3, approval of the agenda for the August 25th meeting. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is communications. Patron comments, Dr. Gilman.
Yes, we have one comment this evening from Mackenzie Tripp, and I'm just going to read that. She said, I'm going into my senior year at Suckman. Personally, I'd rather go to school 5 days a week, but 2 days is decent. Going all virtual seems to be thought of as a fix to the issue. None of these kids will be in school with each other, therefore making it safer, in my opinion, and situation. That is the complete opposite. Now, instead of being in school and the district being able to decently regulate, they have no control over what we do. If going all virtual is a decision that gets made, it will just make it more convenient for me to be with my friends more and work with them more. I will have more time to work and hang out with my friends. There are also many students that participate in school sports. Since these kids will be with each other at practices and sport events, they'll still be intermingling. That exposure is not much more than the hybrid model schedule. And then we had another one from Ken Pruitt, and it's more of a specific question pertaining to his daughter. So if Mr. Pruitt, if you're listening, we will get back to you on that one.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gilman. Next item is board member reports. And I think what I'll do is I'll call your name, and then if you have something to say, that'll be the time to say it, since this is a Zoom meeting and it's easier for me that way. Mr. Grunewald.
I don't really have anything.
Ms. Chamberlain.
I don't have anything at this time.
Ms. Yount. Unmute your mic.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me now? Okay, it keeps fading in and out. I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Shalhoub.
No report.
Ms. Hargis.
No report.
Ms. Smith.
No report.
Okay. I just want to welcome everybody again. I hope you're watching from home and get through this Zoom meeting with us. Sometimes we're not the best with that, at least I'm not. So I appreciate your patience. Next item, Dr. Patel, do you have a report?
I don't have a report, but I can go slide right into the reentry conversation.
Yes, which is 2.3. Thank you, Dr. Patel.
You bet. So I don't have a formal presentation that we're doing today since we just had one last week, but just a couple of things that I did want to update you guys on. First of all, I want to thank all of our teachers. They started back on Thursday of last week. So Thursday and Friday, they spent a lot of time learning and doing a lot of professional development. And then this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, was really time for themselves in their classrooms or working with PLCs, getting lessons together and learning all the new safety protocols and guidelines we've put in place. On that same note, I want to thank all of our administrators. They have worked tirelessly trying to get their building ready. I've noticed videos being posted by our principals, you know, doing the virtual open house and the tours and going up and down hallways and trying to make the kids comfortable. So I know they've been working really hard with that. As far as data goes, I got an update from our Jefferson County Health Department yesterday and today. The good news is that the trends are going in the right direction, meaning we have fewer cases, but not by much. We're still considered in the orange level. Our positivity rate is 10.6, and this was for the week of August 9th. We're still a couple of weeks behind. So 10.6 was the positivity rate. So we do still have widespread community transmission in Jefferson County. We just do. And we just have to be smart about it. Got to wash our hands, social distance, avoid large groups, wear face coverings or face masks. So on that note, I did want us to make sure that, you know, we shared it with the principals today, but since we're on the orange level and since we've been back in school, we have started doing a lot of contact tracing already. And we just want to make sure we're as tight as we can be to start the school year off with. So we adjusted our re-entry plan on the face covering part and we've tightened it completely. So basically, if you're a staff member or student, you will be required to wear a face mask. And that's just the conversations that we're having at the building level. And my hope is that we will be, because I'm going to trust our staff and I'm going to trust our kids to do the right thing. And that's us doing our part. If we want to have kids back in school and we want to stay in school, we're just going to have to do that. And so I want to thank the board for all of your support on that. I know last week you made a motion to make sure that we do have face coverings in schools, including our staff and students. So we are moving forward with that, and our kids come back Thursday. So we're going to be excited for that. And Thursday, Friday will be our first 2 days of half the number of kids coming in. So hopefully everything goes well, and I think it will.
So Dr.
Yeah.
Patel, you're confirming that we are opening with hybrid, regardless of the rumors that have been going around.
Yeah,
We're
so there
having
was no
hybrid
big
school.
reveal today, guys. We're still sticking with hybrid, and we want to get, like we said, we're going to try this, and we're going to try it with complete fidelity. So we're going to start Thursday in hybrid.
Okay.
Can I
Any
ask a question? Yeah.
Michelle?
Yes, I love the idea of students and staff having face covering. I think there is some misunderstanding of if you are able to social distance in your classroom 6 feet apart. Like if a child is working at their desk and if the teacher has made sure that the child is aware that they are 6 feet apart of the other student over there. For example, take 2 yardsticks and spread it out. Okay, you know, Johnny, you're 6 feet apart from that person over there. You're 6 feet apart. No one's around you. You can take off your mask or your covering. Is that okay? Or are you suggesting that they don't take off their masks at all?
We're suggesting they don't take off their masks at all. And here's a couple of reasons why. First reason is you don't know what kind of if you have the doors open, do you have the windows open? Is there a good ventilation system in that place? We don't know that. I do think face covering just allows that additional layer of protection. And I know it's tough. I know especially for the littles, it's going to be hard. But I think it's going to be almost to the point where we start off tight. And then if we decide, like our community is going in the yellow zone, then we can say, okay, the example you gave, I could see that happening, you know? And also what we could do is, and I know Dr. Gilman's talked to the principals, which will communicate with our teachers, like we're just gonna have to take more like mask breaks. You know, we'll go outside if we can. Whatever we can do to make sure it's not continuous all day I don't want parents to feel that's what it's gonna be like, because it's not. You know, they will get breaks for that.
Okay.
Okay, and just a reminder to everyone, if you want to speak, raise your hand so that we're all not speaking out.
Sorry.
Are there any other questions? If not, we can go on to the next item. Oh, Mr. Shalhoub.
Just one comment. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Patel for clarifying and defining what the expectations are. Sometimes, Michelle, when you talk about social distancing, one person's social distance is different than the other person's social distance. And I can tell you at the university here, we require masks in the same room. And here's the analogy I give them. If you were to walk into a room with a person that clearly is suffering with COVID, would you wear a mask? Generally speaking, everybody says, no question of it. Even if I'm 6 feet away, if I'm in that room with them, I'm going to wear a mask. The problem we have is we don't know who has COVID. There's no testing that's being done. So there could very well be people in that classroom that have COVID and you don't know it. And so the only way that you can absolutely make sure, and this is what we're doing at the university, is that if you're in a classroom with other people, you wear a mask. And we know if we do that, that the transmission, the possibility of transmission just goes down significantly at that particular point. And here's what I want. I want people to be able to send their kids to school. And I want them to feel that absolutely that they're not going to be exposed unnecessarily to any kind of transmission of COVID. And I'll tell you, folks, we've been in this community. I've been here all my life. A few of us on the screen have been, and this community has gone through a lot of big deals. Let me tell you, we've endured floods that you would never just imagine. And we've worked together as a community to take care of our community and help with sandbagging and do everything else. And we got through everything. And it's just the nature of our community come together. What we're asking, I think, and what Dr. Patel is asking, is that we're asking for your help. Because I believe if we do this right, if we do it right, we'll have success with it. I think it'll be a very successful thing and our kids will be able to enjoy coming to school. I would hope that our coaches, when they're working with the athletes, are as insistent upon them following the protocols that we put in place to make sure that we don't have any outbreaks among our teams too. And so anyway, I think the new guidelines are excellent. And I think if we do it right, we'll have success with this. And I'm excited about the new school year.
I would just like to say I agree with that. And my hope is if we follow the guidelines well, that maybe we'll be able to come back to school 5 days a week. And that's what we all really want, because that's what's best for our kids. So anybody else? Okay. Hearing no other comments, we'll go on to the next item, 3.1, Kelly Services. Dr. Brock.
We are recommending that the district partner with Kelly Services to supplement our staffing needs. This partnership is not intended to replace our own employees, and we will still be hiring for these positions and giving preference to our own employees. This partnership with Kelly Services is intended to serve as a supplement to fill vacancies when we cannot cover them with our existing staff, or to cover positions so they don't go unstaffed while we're hiring and things like that. This is very important for our district at this time, as there are many additional long-term leaves that we need to cover even to start school for various COVID-related reasons than what we typically have at the beginning of the year. And as you know, we also need many additional custodians on a temporary basis to assist with all the extra cleaning and disinfecting required due to COVID. The district would be billed as shown on the attached Exhibit A, and the markup on our regular rates covers the service provided by Kelly Services, which includes things like recruiting and hiring for employees, benefits that those employees may be eligible for, potential workers' comp claims, potential unemployment claims, training, background checks, and then some other general liabilities that are described in the contract. Are there questions about this item or about the contract that I can answer?
Ms. Yount.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure. I'm having, okay.
Yes.
I just want to reassure everyone in this community and the employees that this is not in any way outsourcing any of our jobs. And when you hear the word Kelly Services in this community, the first thing you think about is that we're trying to replace our employees. And so I want everybody to understand that is not the course that this board or this administration is taking. Am I right, Kelly?
Yeah,
This
that's
is a
exactly
temporary
right.
situation because of the pandemic that we have to have additional help. And so these particular jobs, long-term subs and so forth, they have already been offered or they will be offered to our sub people now. Am I correct? They will be offered or they have been offered to the people who are on our sub list. And if we do not get those from our sub list, then we will be going to Kelly. Am I right? And is that kind of the way it's going to be working?
That's how we intend for it to work. We have offered as many as we can prior to the start of school. And we even sent an email to all of our existing subs asking them, if you're interested in a long-term position, please email us back just so that we would know who those people were. We do try to get people who are subject area certified to be the long-term subs, just so that we can ensure that, you know, kids are getting the best instruction in that subject area, especially at the secondary level as it gets more subject specific. And so that limits us a little bit, but we have offered everything that we can at this point, and we are trying to make sure that we have certified subs in as many positions as we possibly can on the first day of school. And so
Okay,
we've begun working on that.
Thank you. I just wanted to just make sure that everybody understands this is a temporary situation. It is temporary service. And hopefully we get past this pandemic. We can go back to a normal routine of using our own people and not have to work with somebody outside our district. So that I just wanted everybody to understand that this is a temporary situation. Thank you, Kelly.
Right. And on,
I just got a couple of questions.
Sorry.
I guess what I have the hardest time understanding is how Kelly is able to get people to do this and we're not. I guess I always get concerned, are there screening processes different than ours? When we lose control over who's actually we're putting in our classroom, I really get nervous about that. And I guess what I don't understand is why they can do it and we can't. And so I would like for somebody to explain that to me.
so the reason that they can do it right now and that we cannot is that they already have a huge presence and a huge sub bank to draw from in St. Louis County. And all of those schools, or almost all of those schools, have gone all virtual for first quarter. And so they have a huge just pool of people sitting there not able to work.
Are there any other
So
questions?
with
Sorry, Mr.
With the
Shalhoub.
new graduates that haven't maybe been employed this time, we can't create that pool with people that are more local. I have a hard time understanding why we can't do this. And I know for many years, we talked about doing this again and again, but I just have a difficult time understanding they go out and find somebody, but we can't. And I don't understand. Yes, that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, anybody else have questions? Michelle?
I agree with Jim whenever he talks about like making sure that we have the best people in our classes whenever our teachers are out and making sure that they are great for our kids. I'm okay with, and I support the Kelly corporate whatever system coming in and providing subs, because I know that you've tried very, very, very hard, Kelly, on getting subs, and I've shared that with you. So I think that this is just our kind of our last resort. What I hope that we see in the schools is that, like the staff, they're going to see this new person come in and they're going to be like, is that a Kelly person? I just want everyone to just kind of welcome because this is a year that we all have to, we're all in it together, right? So when anybody comes in to sub, as long as you got your day, like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Go next door and check and make sure that that new sub is okay and that they, you know, just check on them and support them. Let's all be successful. That's what I hope that this new partnership, hopefully for just a little bit, but I hope this new partnership is successful.
Thank you, Michelle. Anybody else?
Mr. Shalou, I think this truly is a unique situation in that we are resorting to Kelly Services. As Dr. Brock said, I think that the reason we can rely on Kelly Services this time is because St. Louis County is virtual. So they do have a bank of people just sitting there waiting for us to tap into. But otherwise, if no pandemic and the districts that do use Kelly Services and the districts that don't, and based on our own data, really the fill rate is about the same. So truly, we have been doing really good with our fill rate without Kelly Services. But with this pandemic, we just have an additional need of people because of, you know, COVID related reasons. And they happen to have a lot of people there. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Hargis, you had your hand up. I'll get to you, Judy, in a minute.
Okay.
I just want to clarify, we're going to be able to get custodians through Kelly Service.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to be able to fill the need that we discussed of the shortage, the number of shortages that we're going to have.
As far as the additional positions for COVID, yes. They will have to recruit some of those, so they won't have a custodian sitting there just at day one for us necessarily for all of those positions. But between now and the next 30 days, they'll be adding till we're fully staffed.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Ms. Smith, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I know that a lot of the students that are coming in to be P1s and student teachers and things like that, some of those students are in the buildings 2 days a week. And we have a lot of them that have signed up to be subs, but because they are taking classes 2 days a week or 3 days a week, they can't fulfill the full-time subs or the long-term subs because they have to go to school on some of those days. So we have hired several new substitute teachers that are working within the district, but they still are going to school. And so they aren't available 5 days a week or 4 days a week.
Right, that's exactly right. And if you look at our past few board agendas, you'll see that we've hired subs at each of the last few meetings.
Okay, Mr. Shalou?
I'm not as concerned about the custodial staff. I guess that the biggest problem I have is I would like to know how Kelly is screening these people to do this work. Do we have higher expectations for the subs that we have come in? I just really having a hard time understanding why they can get them and we can't. Are there qualifications less? Is there something different? And that's the only thing again, on the custodian, I don't really, that's a different, the horse of a different color, because I know that's extremely hard right now. But with teachers, I know there's just a lot of teachers out there that want to work. And I guess I worry about having people coming in that we haven't screened ourselves. I guess that's part of my issue.
Okay.
We had a question from Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Stewart?
I just wanted to add in, Mr. Shalou, I think one of the reasons that Kelly is able to have more folks available is if they're servicing several districts or a bunch of districts in St. Louis County, those substitute teachers know they have an opportunity to basically sub every day. If a sub is only signed up with a single district, they might work 1 or 2 days a week on occasion. And if they have to go and sign up with other districts on their own, it's a lot more for somebody to do to apply to several different districts. Whereas if they apply to a Kelly Services, they've got an opportunity to work in multiple districts whenever those needs arise.
Okay, I do have a question. Did somebody else have a question? Otherwise, I had one myself.
I actually wanted to answer Jim's question.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. I'm sorry, I can't see you, so.
Oh, that's okay. So with regard to the background checks and the training, they are as stringent with we are as far as the background checks. And for some categories of employees, they actually do more training than we do. So for our, general ed teachers, they use Safe Schools and the same training system that we use. So that training is the same. And then their special education staff, whether it's special education teachers, TAs or aides, they actually go through more training for Kelly Services than they do with us.
Okay. My question was related more to the contract itself, Kelly, and that is, there's two places. There's one place that has a non-solicitation statement in there, and I take that as a non-compete that says we can't hire the district could not hire any of those Kelly employees for up to 12 months after they've left their assignment in the district if they work for us. And then there's another thing on the last page where it's actually got the positions and the pay that says, if we end up hiring somebody from Kelly, there's a fee they charge us. So I'm confused about that. Could you explain it, please?
Yes, so I actually talked with Kelly Services about that today. And so they are really referring to two different things. So
Okay.
the non-compete clause is more about the team of professionals that is assigned to work with our account. So like a recruiter that is recruiting for
okay.
us, and the rep that I deal with on a daily basis, and those people. So we can't stop service with Kelly Services and then have me call their recruiter and say, hey, just come work for us. So
Okay,
that's
but
what
the actual
the contract one
positions-
is about.
But the actual positions, if we find a good employee that we want to offer a full-time position to, we can do that, but then we have to pay a fee, correct?
Right. So like if we have a sub that is in our buildings a lot and they want to come and be an actual teacher for us, we can hire that person as long as we pay their fee. And that fee is really meant to cover the costs that they incur recruiting for our district and hiring and training and everything for the subs. And that's why it decreases over time.
And then my next question is, the intent of the contract is just to do the long-term sub positions, not ones that are day-to-day, correct? Is that the
Yeah,
intent?
that's correct. Yes, we still plan to cover all of the day-to-day needs on our own. And so, for example, if we were doing a full service contract with Kelly Services, there would actually be a clause in it prohibiting us from hiring and filling our own because we've signed all that over to them. And that clause doesn't exist in the contract that we have.
Okay, good. Okay, anybody else, any questions? Carol?
Yeah, I'm reading the restrictions, and one of the things that stood out to me is it says that it's item J. It says they can't have sole custody of a single student, be solely responsible for supervising more than one classroom, of course, or administer or maintain custody of any student medications. And there's nothing in this that I saw in this contract that relates specifically to nurses. So that was a little bit confusing to me, that it's in there, and yet they do have nurses available for us.
They do have nurses available for us. So there's actually a unique job description for every single position that they cover for us or that they would cover for us. And we go through and sign off on each of those job descriptions.
Okay.
And so I would do that with the company. And so I didn't post them here on board docs, but I can share that with you if you'd like to see those.
Well, no, I was a little confused because I can see with special ed, occasionally there will be a one-on-one, I would assume, with a student. And I just kind of, just a little bit confusing.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? If not, if we're ready for a motion, are there any other questions? All right, can I get a motion to approve Kelly Service, the contract for Kelly Services?
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor? Raise your hand.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you, I approved. The next
Thank you.
item on the agenda, thank you, everybody, is 3.2 credit card assignments. Mr. Stewart.
As you're aware, we have a limited number of folks in the district that have a credit card. And we're asking to add one for Gary Cross with a limit of $1,000. Gary is our Director of Transportation, and per policy DJF, it would require board approval. So I would ask the board to approve the issuance of a credit card for Mr. Cross for $1,000.
Motion.
Can I
Second,
get a, okay, all in favor? Yes,
yes.
okay, good job. The next item is, let's see. 4.1 consent agenda, Dr. Brock.
We are requesting the board's approval for all attached hires, stipends, and modifications.
All right, can I get a motion?
Motion,
Second?
Second,
All in favor?
yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
And I think that's it. It's a record meeting. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion,
Second,
All in favor?
yes.
Thank you.